Good morning and welcome to the ArcStone-Kingswood Growth Summit. This is the inaugural year. My name is Crystal Carson and I will be your MC for today. ArcStone was incorporated in July of 2023, founded by Mike Astone, Raj Ravindran, and Jack Ben Simon. They acquired a FINRA BD license in New York, then an EMD license in Ontario. Since starting operations last September, they have grown to over 30 staff and continue to grow. Kingswood US is a FINRA broker-dealer and registered investment advisor with over $14 billion across 140 investment advisors in the US and $45 billion across 1,950 investment advisors across the UK. The ArcStone and Kingswood partnership was formed in March of this year, with a collaboration starting with a fairness opinion for a $320 million NASDAQ biotech company. For outreach, inquiries, and concerns, please contact Raj today. Veronica will be booking all of the one-on-one meetings. And now, I would like to introduce you to Mike Astone and Kevin Ernst to start our day.
Thank you, Crystal. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at our first inaugural growth conference with our partners Kingswood and a number of our sponsors who work in our ecosystem and support our clients every day. It's a great day. We have oil at $67. Gold just hit a new high, $2,700. S&P futures are up, and looks like we're getting back into a bull market with recent interest rate cuts coming down. And we couldn't be more excited to really build this ecosystem, come together with a number of our partners, and provide a new cross-border financial services firm to the Canadian capital markets. Today we have over 40 companies presenting, many on a panel style conversation, and others that will be featured, and then a lot of one-on-one meetings. So I encourage you to network and stay for the lunch. There's a cocktail reception that's happening later this afternoon. And then for a few of us, we're going to be having dinner, but we encourage many of you to join us for drinks later. Look, when we started ArcStone, our mission was pretty simple. Many of us had come from large cap investment banks as former managing directors, former directors. Many of us were venture investors, founders of companies. And we said, look, there's not a firm really that exists today where a number of the bankers can say they have been in the seat of our clients as the CEO or founder. We've been there. Many of us have started companies. I myself have taken 3 companies public as a founder investor while being an investment banker. So when we're giving our clients advice, we understand those challenges. What do you need to look for in a shell? What type of escrow agreements have to be in place? Who are some good digital media partners for you to consider? Where to access capital? What are the benefits of an RTO? What are the benefits of a direct list to the NASDAQ? What are some of the pitfalls you should consider when looking at a SPAC? And I think that's what really sets us apart, because we've been in your seat taking companies that we've personally invested in, companies that we've helped partner with management teams. And so our advice comes from having the experience of being in the seats of our clients. Kingswood is a wealth management-backed roll-up of investment advisory firms, and they're entrepreneurs. Mike Nessum's an entrepreneur. He started Kingswood 6 years ago. They're up to almost 500 retail brokers, 20 billion of retail assets under management. And so it was a natural fit. When we saw the Canadian capital markets and a number of competitors only having institutional desks, we said, look, this is a natural fit for us. The Canadian capital markets tend to be early on new economies. We were early on cannabis. We were early on psychedelics. We were early on crypto, blockchain. We have global companies from Australia, Israel, that come to our markets to list. It's faster, it's cheaper. A $60 million market cap is more relevant in Canada to start, and then they can prove their business plan out, achieve a few quarters of growth, and then we'll be ready to help them with our partner Kingswood to uplist when they're ready. In the meantime, our thesis was always, let's be more than just investment bankers. Many of our competitors sit and wait and say, markets aren't good, capital's not there, you're too small, call us when your stock's above $1. What we do in the interim is we help companies create awareness. Next week, we'll be announcing a partnership with one of our sponsors on the digital media side where we're making an equity investment in the company. which will give us more tools, more eyeballs to help create awareness for our companies. We're doing non-deal roadshows in between financings, taking companies to New York, taking them to Manhattan, getting them to meet the traders at Kingswood. Kevin, my partner, spent a number of years at the New York Stock Exchange, and so he's got a great Rolodex. And so these are all tools, like today's conference, of what we're doing for companies in between their financing. Because we don't want to just get called, hey, can you raise us some money? We think that's a very broken model. We view that as investment banking 1.0, where the economy has gone to is social media, crowdfunding, US connectivity, family offices, Bahamas, high net worth CEOs. And so, look, after the MiFID rules, equity capital markets, for a number of these banks, they became a loss leader. The institutional desks don't produce profits for the banks. The research franchises are loss leaders. And so they are not investing the way we see it in terms of covering family offices, covering a CEO that took $100 million off the table and now is running his own venture fund. This is where the new capital has to come from for private companies looking to go public, for public companies looking for lead orders. The institutional universe in Canada is pretty sparse. They're the same 15 funds that traditionally play on liquidity and structured finance, and we know those guys. We talk to those firms and funds and show them deals. But our cutting edge and our creativity is our partnership with Kingswood, our digital media partners, and then our proprietary ECM desk. When ArcView Capital came for sale, we took a look at the business. They were started in 2019. We saw 3 strategic errors with their platform. 1, they were a US-only FINRA broker-dealer. 2, they were focused on one industry, cannabis. And 3, they didn't have a north-south strategy. So we quickly identified that this was a huge opportunity to leverage the ecosystem they had created with crowdfunding licenses, investment banking licenses in over 35 states, and an accredited investor database of over 80,000 investors that we have acquired, just waiting for the SEC to approve the final transfer of ownership of that database, which are going to be new tools for our clients. So now with the cross-border strategy, we have over approximately 30 people that sit in Canada and growing. Yesterday, we announced our partnership, which Jack will speak about, on ArcStone Israel, and we couldn't be more excited. This gives us an ability to be very nimble, very entrepreneurial, but have real capabilities to help our clients. So thank you for coming today. We appreciate you guys being friends of the firm, clients, sponsors, advisors. We'll have a lot of fun today, I'm sure. The day will be pretty structured with panel conversations, but we'll have lots of opportunities to network at lunch and dinner. And thank you for supporting us, and we're just getting started, so we really appreciate it.
Hopefully I'm mic'd up. Oh, he's got me mic'd up. So you can stay over here. So I think that was a great intro, by the way. Thanks. I don't know if I could say too much more. I think he covered a lot of everything over the last, 2 years since you and I started talking, which is kind of funny because all of a sudden I start getting these calls from this guy by the name of Michael Astone, and he's pitching me in the idea of like working with us in the US. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, he keeps calling me. It's like he's stalking me, more or less. And so after I got to know him and just like he's got an incredible background. If you don't know like what his resume is, KPMG, BMO, Cantor, all blue chip firms. And when I met with him, we just started talking. It took about 9 months before we sort of got to the point of actually forming this partnership, which, as he mentioned, officially was launched when we did a reception during PDAC in March. And I think many of you were probably there. We had a pretty good turnout for that reception that we had. But we couldn't be more excited to have partners like ArcStone. They are hardworking, they're honest, they really know the ecosystem up here. As Michael said, I was with the New York Stock Exchange for 9+ years. Canada was probably my biggest focus, got involved in hundreds of IPOs and cross listings. So I know there's a big opportunity up here to bring companies to the US, get them listed on New York, get them listed on NASDAQ. But really where our role comes in is now that Michael and his group are up here, we can actually get involved earlier and really start to put the roadmap together for companies to come to the US. And that's a big advantage, right? There's probably no investment banking group that's more integrated cross-border than we are. I mean, we have calls every day talking about different files and opportunities. So we're extremely excited, about the future. We've done a number of things. In terms of Kingswood, I mean, Michael covered most of it. We have an office in New York. We have an office in Miami. We have an office in Austin, Texas, which we have a separate defense and aerospace group that just focuses on mostly defense. Our partners are ex-Defense Department people, like the high levels. So these guys are really dialed into the Defense Department at the U.S. We have a 3-star general that's also involved. So anything in the defense space, it's highly likely that they're not as dialed in as we are. So if there's anybody that's sort of in that defense space, would love to speak with you separately about that. We've gotten a lot of momentum the last 2 months. We've probably done, 5 IPOs.
Yeah.
We did an IPO for $50 million. We just did a SPAC last week. We're doing another SPAC next week. So we're really looking for the right partners here in Canada with companies that are ready to come to the U.S. And we'd love to chat with each and every one of you that's looking to come to the U.S. and sort of, figure out like how we can help you and collectively put together, a game plan that makes sense over the next, 12 months to 18 months. But with that, I just want to say really appreciate everybody coming out, really appreciate all the sponsors that are participating. And I have to take my hat off to Michael and his group because they put this whole thing together in 4 months, which is pretty incredible. Thank you.